Everybody has a culture, whether it's good or bad. But for us, our culture is based on the standard that we have. We have a part of our core values. One is don't lie, don't litter. And people always say, well, why litter? Because litter, that's something that you do when nobody's watching, or it's something like you really don't care. It shows like your care value.
All right. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for joining me here today. We'll start off nice and easy. Can you just introduce yourself with your name and what you do?
Okay. My name is Rachel Kroese, and I've been the general manager for mySalesman since 2017.
Awesome. So tell me about your background a little bit. How did you join mySalesman, and how did you actually first get into the industry?
So it was just kind of a, hey, we're going to help some friends of ours out type of thing. Back in 2014, got a call from Matt, who's been a lifelong friend ever since our school ages, and said, hey, we're going to take the mySalesman tool to FenceTech. Would love for you to come help out with that and show the fence industry what that looked like. And it was kind of nerve-wracking a little bit, just because that's not the industry we worked in. I came from the education side of things, so I worked with children and children's ministries. So that call came in November of 2014, and so when FenceTech did roll around, we kind of were prepared to go down to Florida and meet with fence contractors at our booth and just show them what mySalesman was all about. Teaching contractors or educating contractors about software back at my first FenceTech in 2015 looked very different than it does now. So that was kind of my push into the fence industry. And then from there on out, we also have a fence company. So with the growth of the fence company side of things, somebody needed to come in and do the general management for the mySalesman tool. And here I am.
Exactly. I know that conversation has changed so much from back in like 2012, 2014. Now today, everybody has some sort of tool that they go to when they're thinking about starting their own company, or they've at least got the lay of the land a little bit. So I guess walk me back to those earlier days. Like you said, Empire Fence and Netting was the fence company that originally was there. And I know that mySalesman kind of came off the back of a need of just the audience in that market not knowing how much a fence would cost. And it would be completely surprising to potential customers how much that would be. And that's sort of where the tool came from.
We were already in the space of, visiting with contractors on site. And so that started in 2009. Matt is a visionary and a serial entrepreneur. So he's always on the constant look for what can we do to improve our efficiencies and get our workflows and get better at what we do. There's got to be a better way to handle a customer needing a fence than them calling up the office number. We go out to see her only to hold the baby, pet the dog, walk the fence line, and talk about dollar amounts for a quote. And that customer, well, number one, they didn't realize a fence cost this much. And we didn't realize it, but this customer was not ready for a fence. They just needed some budgetary information. And then you look down the road and 3 years later, there's not a fence there. So that customer that initially had you out, they still have no fence. So essentially there's a lot of lost time. And we know that time is revenue. And time is that one thing that you can never get back. We always say around here, we can always make more money, but you can never get back more time. So at that point, Matt's vision of mySalesman came to being. And in fact, he went to FenceTech looking for something that would, this vision that he had would serve that vision, but there was nothing. There was one software company that, had been in this space for a very long time, but there was nothing that was cloud-based and intuitive for a a user experience on the customer side, nothing at all. And Matt brought that to not just the fence industry, but I really think he pioneered that for a lot of home service industries. But because this is where we live, this was our space in the fence, that's where we first launched mySalesman is for fence.
Definitely. And I think obviously because that is so hand in hand with the business that you originally started with Empire Fence and Netting, it is so tailor-made to the needs that you all had. And obviously the needs that you have in the fence business are the needs that a lot of other fence pros have. So it's very much made with that point of view in mind. Was there any sort of like tension or friction in sort of like now being your core business being a fence business and now you're spinning up this sort of new venture in software? What was that sort of like to juggle two different companies that are completely two different businesses?
So, well, let's just say everybody wore a multitude of hats, right? So even as I joined the team, I didn't then actually become like a paid employee of the company until 2017. And at that time, we had lost a sales manager for residential fence. And so I stepped into that role. And then it's, when you are belong to a team of folks that are writing for the brand, you're gonna do just about anything, right? So I answered phone calls. I went out with my wheel and walked the fence line and did fence estimates for customers, alongside of calling potential customers for mySalesman. And so we really did, everybody did this. It wasn't just me, it's every single person in our company. They just were able to pivot. And so I guess that what really makes you understand the why behind, hey, why are we a part of this group, right? This organization. It's more than a paycheck. Like we're not coin operated. We genuinely have a love and passion for everybody around us and in this space to do what we've been able to. Well, Matt, he's been able to create this. So one thing is people that has really driven how we have grown is the people aspect of things. So as the fence company grew, we brought more people on, and it's funny because people are like, well, how do you find good help and keep them? So, which was a test to the time. I think I was around number 10 at that time, and fast forward to today, we've hit 190. So people really aren't the issue, for us, and that's based on our culture and our standard. So when we talk about culture, everybody has a culture, whether it's good or bad. But for us, our culture is based on the standard that we have, and so we have a part of our core values. One is don't steal, don't lie, don't litter. And people always say, well, why litter? Because litter, that's something that you do when nobody's watching, or it's something like you really don't care. It shows like your care value. And that's just, we've been able to attract people that really care and write for the brand. And it's people where build those relationships and grow the business, right? And then, of course, Matt always looks at things as, hey, we can do that. Like we're a go-to kind of mentality. We're going to figure it out. Things that we've never done before, we're just going to figure out. We're just not going to say no. And that leads into, hey, well, how can we do this better? So at the time we had Empire and then mySalesman, and I could remember distinctively waiting for gates for our residential jobs to be done so we can get them built. And that was kind of a hiccup. And Matt purchased a fabrication company that they were looking for an exit strategy anyway. So Matt went ahead and bought that fabrication company, and then we would be able to, do our own gates and that kind of thing. So we're not relying on somebody else to be able to serve that need for us. And then here rolls around 2016, and we are in construction for our new headquarters, right? So we moved into our new headquarters actually in 2017, but on the front end of that building, we put a indoor sports facility. So we build netting systems all across the country where we work for MLB, NFL, colleges, Parks and Rec, and everybody in between for anything sports construction related. And we do this around the globe. Well, actually, it is around the globe. We're international. But why not build this facility, attach the front end of our building to generate revenue, right? So we did that. And then that became the Wave, which is another vertical. And then we also have a fitness center, and then a small softball organization called the Wave as well. So anywhere we have found something where we can serve or fill a need, Matt's created that. So fast forward, we do the sports construction, and Matt had purchased a painting and sandblasting facility. And that was great, and it was able to take us so far. But when we do those 70-foot long poles and all the different specific needs for sports construction, powder coating was just the way to go. So then we have now a powder coating facility. So we do lots of not just sports construction out of that building, but for a lot of other customers as well, needing powder coating. So one more thing, we have a retail. So now we're installing the sports construction things. We have our own fabrication shop that builds the sports construction. And now we can sell them through Unlimited Sports Solutions as a retail arm. So, and then we service fence contractors, sports construction folks all over the country with our own products too. We have a program called Certified Fence Installation Program, and we have specific fence contractors across the country who install Unlimited Sports Solutions products.
Incredible.
That's
You're not busy
right?
at all. You've got nothing going on. No, that is amazing. You are the most vertically integrated business that I think I've heard about in a while there. And what strikes me about everything that you've just said is that you basically were able to just jump on opportunity as it came up, right? Like, I think when people are looking to grow their businesses, they kind of are like, I do this thing really well, and I should expand horizontally. I should open more franchise shops. I should open more locations across the country, but it should just be this one service or one need. And I think everything that you've just laid out in detail just shows that you really can flex to whatever your community needs, whatever opportunities are presenting themselves in front of you. And it doesn't have to be so cut and dry. You don't have to put yourself in a mold. You can really just grab the bull by the horns and take after whatever is in your path, which is awesome.
So I was just going to say, you say, take every opportunity by, not saying no, but also look for ways that you create opportunity, through networking or definitely it's the relationships that we have built in this industry. So yes, I'm speaking from the mySalesman side of things, the software side of things, but because of who we are in our organization, we have friends in the industry, contractors, vendors, manufacturers, suppliers. Literally, we know all these people we have connections with. So opportunity, get into the right rooms with the right people. And I think when you're building a business, that is the rooms that you get in are what's going to help elevate you to the next level.
Exactly. What's the kind of like unsaid thing about entrepreneurship is that every business is a people business. You could build the best tech company in the world, the best SaaS company in the world, but who are you serving at the end of the day? There is a customer always on the other end of the line. And that is all back down to community, people operations, building trust, like all the really basic golden rule type things that you get taught when you're really, really young. Like all of those same principles are the same ones that it takes to run a good, trustworthy, and successful business, which is definitely a testament to all the success and all of the different arms that Crown Co. now has under its arms. I want to shift gears a little bit now and talk about the partnership with ArcSite, because I know that our history goes back many, many years. It even predates me. So tell me about how the two companies first started working together.
So I remember hearing ArcSite come about, seeing it like on some social feeds and understanding who they are and what they did. So we did have a meeting with ArcSite, and just to kind of, jump in and introduce ourselves, figure out what our goals were and how we could partner and help each other, and what that integration would look like between the two systems. So mySalesman is very important as far as scalability, right? It's a great concept that we need to have a front end tool. Let me just jump back. Like I said, in 2015, that first FenceTech that I was at, there was nothing. And there was nothing, at least that was cloud-based. So we were the very first software out there is cloud-based for the fence industry. And definitely a forward-facing tool for Mr. and Mrs. Jones. I mean, Matt was very innovative when he created the software, right? Nobody else was doing it. So we needed to have that funnel as your first pipe into your pipeline. You need that first funnel. You need to make sure that this number one opportunity is a good fit for your customer. So all good businesses know that not everybody is a good fit, right? You have to know who your customer is. And so not only are we providing information for that customer, we're also able to vet them to see if this is even somebody that we want to do business with. But of course, we have a lot of really cool lead management tools on the back end. But then we saw that with ArcSite, a contractor could take that one step further. They'll be able to take all the information that mySalesman provides, and that is a ready to go lead. It's a hot lead. They're ready to buy. So that's going to be pushed into ArcSite. So when that contractor goes out on site with their iPad and presents an estimate for that customer, or a proposal for that customer, where they can literally sign it right there and close it. So when you're talking speed to lead, I don't think that you can get any quicker than that, right? You're qualifying a customer within a matter of literally minutes. And then once that appointment is set, that contractor goes out with their ArcSite pad and literally can get a signature while they're out there. I don't think there's anything quicker than that.
No, exactly. And like you said, you can earn more money, but you cannot take back time. And that is one of the most important resources that small businesses need to be really careful with, right? Because if you start off as a one-man operation, you might be driving 90 miles this way, 80 miles that way, just to find that actually your customer has a budget of like $3, and that is time wasted, and that is money that you could have been spending towards another customer that might actually sell in. It might be time working on your existing jobs that are already happening, and not having to waste that time in a job that doesn't come out to anything. So it's massive in getting your process tightened up in a way that you're spending your time very efficiently.
Absolutely. Yes.
Amazing. So I guess talk to me a little bit more about the integration. Like when we first started working together, what was that conversation like in terms of making your tool work with ArcSite?
So I think the most important thing is being able to provide a qualified lead, right? And then what efficiencies are set in place to continue the speed of, let me just say, Stephen Covey's Speed of Trust is probably a book that every contractor should take a look at. It really hits the nail on the head when we're talking about speed and efficiencies and how we can get things done and work together. And that is really just the concept of mySalesman and ArcSite, that we're able to do this in such a quick motion, be able to pull in that customer, understand if it's ours, and then push it into ArcSite and get on site and literally sell that job right then and there. It's so simplistic. And what we've noticed in the fence industry, people in our market, even as an example, like if a homeowner comes in and has 3 of us companies come in and give them an estimate, they're all going to be about the same, because we're all paying about the same amount in labor and material and all of that. So where we win is on efficiencies. So if you're not being efficient, you're just going to get passed by somebody else because they are, right?
Exactly. It's just such a game of like small margins, and what I mean by that is like if somebody is just 2% better than you, 2% faster, a little bit more efficient, that's a job gone that could have gone to your business, right? And every dollar lost is that opportunity cost of being not able to win that job, build your business, have more capital to be able to invest back into your business to grow. It's such a snowball effect that comes from such a small instance of something happening.
Santa, can I just air quote your opportunity loss? Like that's a big deal. That is something that we really need to educate contractors on. You have a lot of contractors who are really good at building fence and need a little bit help in the business side of things, so they understand what you need in your tool belt to help you scale. And opportunity lost is a measurable revenue. So you said it completely correct when you're like, when you're not in front of the right people, you have opportunity loss, which is calculated revenue.
Exactly. It's such an interesting economic concept. Of all things, I studied economics in school, really using my degree today. But I remember sitting in like my micro econ 101 class, and the way my professor explained it to me was like opportunity cost could be simple as like, what do you want for dinner, pizza or pasta? If you choose pizza, your opportunity cost is not having pasta. And that's a choice, right? We're not placing judgment on it. We're not saying pasta is better than pizza or vice versa, but it is just the choice that you make of where you choose to spend your dollar, your time, your energy. And that really sticks with me in everything that I do. It's like, if I choose to do this, that is the opportunity cost I have for every other choice I did not make, which is such an interesting way to like think about not only business, but about life, right? Like you could extend that thinking to your relationships, your friends, the way you interact with your community. It's just an interesting philosophy. Anyways, I digress. Going back to the sort of like shared customers that we have you heard from any folks that are using both mySalesman and ArcSite? And have you had any nice like anecdotes about how the tools have helped them grow their business?
You know what? It's funny that you should ask, because with as many customers that we have, the mySalesman tool is so easy that, we don't get a whole lot of, hey, I need help. How do I do this? Because when we take on a new client, we onboard them very well that they are off to the races. Like it's so easy. And we explain best practices and, hey, you can try this, or nationwide, we've seen when you do this or apply that, while using the mySalesman tool, you're going to be very successful. And we really try to bring out best practices when we do our onboards, and they're like 40 minutes long. And from there, ArcSite sells the job. So So we don't have a lot of people like doing, hey, we've noticed this or this or this, because they're having success. So you only hear when people are complaining. You don't always hear when people are having success. And it's usually very quiet here at the mySalesman office.
Honestly, no news is good news. That is so true. The minute you start hearing chatter about X, Y, and Z, it's usually somebody who's got a suggestion, a problem, a little bone to pick or whatever.
Yeah. And so usually if there's, so we rename anything problem as riddle, because riddles are fun to solve and we can solve them together. And that's why we get paid to come to work and do this stuff, right? Solving riddles. And that's, we tell our customers all the time, I'm like, you can give us a call, right? For anything. No little question is, you shouldn't feel like I can't ask this question because it's little. Just call us, ask us a question. But we just, people are so easily, this software is so easy that we just don't hear a lot back, but we know they're out there.
Exactly. It's a mark of a job well done. Let's say that. I want to shift gears now a little bit and talk about just how the industry has changed over the course of your career. Because I think, if starting a fence business today or any sort of trade business today looks very different than it did just 10 years ago, right? Commodity prices are going up. There's workforce shortages. It's difficult to build a good culture. There's a lot of different things working against the, trade entrepreneur. So from your perspective, how do you think some of those challenges have changed in the many decades that you've been in the business?
So a couple things, and this may be more onto the next generation and what their outlook and with you coming out of school and how you're seeing things and the lens that you are looking at this industry from, right? So the next generation of professionals, I think, looks a little bit differently, right? Because they've grown up in a digital world. So they expect efficiencies. They expect technology, transparency, and growth, right? And I think those are very good litmus tests. Like, what efficiencies are you using in your business to get you to that next level, which is technology, right? Everybody has a technology stack. And that's something that mySalesman understood and pushed into play with our new mySalesman 3.0 update. We really wanted to be able to integrate with people, whatever systems they were using, meet them where they are. And ArcSite, like I said, was one of the very first ones we did. We liked ArcSite, right? We liked the people behind it, and we liked the concept. And so definitely new generation folks are looking for technology and transparency, right? Speed of trust. Again, try Stephen Covey for your team. Like, do an internal study. It's really very well worth it. But speed of trust, which parallels to how mySalesman works as well, because what we're doing is we're extending trust to Mr. and Mrs. Jones. We're showing them about what to expect before, we show up on site. So if we're not near to what Mr. and Mrs. Jones thought a fence would be, they can say, hey, sorry, you're out of our price range or whatnot, or being transparent. Now, I look at it this way. So if you go to a used car lot and you have a budget, right? You're getting your 16-year-old in a car, you have a budget, and you go to this used car lot and there is no pricing on any of the vehicles, right? You don't even have a starting point. Like, where do I go to even know what's in my my budget range? I don't know which car to look at. So what you're relying on is some salesperson to come out here. And then, of course, right there, that just sends up a red flag. Like, they're not being transparent about vehicles And then here comes the old sales guy, right? So again, I think these young people are seeing like the Carvanas, right? Where you know what you're going to pay. People are buying vehicles online. Like, who does that? Well, this generation does that. So
Exactly. I think that's so interesting, right? Like there's less caginess, I guess, or there's just like less shyness around talking about like awkward things. Like you used to have that sort of like dance where you might negotiate, like maybe it'll be the number on a piece of paper and you slide it across the table. Like I think
shady, right? Seems pretty shady.
Right. I think it's like that old school style of negotiation in business, no matter what you're buying or selling, right? And it used to be a little bit like you wouldn't say the money part out loud. But these days, that is so different amongst the younger generations. Like everybody has way more access to knowledge. You can go on Google and say, what does an average person with this job title make in my area? And now you have information.
Right.
So you know that you're not getting over or undercut when you go in to look for a job. And like you said, it really just comes back to trust, because if you know that you're going into an employer, you're looking to join a trade, you're looking to start up a business of your own, you can really tell when somebody is being honest and upfront with you and when they're being a little bit shady or a little bit cagey. And that gives you a lot of indicators of, is this the type of place where I want to work? Is this the place where I want to invest my time? Because even if you're 22 and right out of college, or 18 graduating high school and you're stepping into the workforce, that's a huge decision. Your first job is probably going to set the trajectory of the rest of your career, which is a lot of pressure.
Right. These kids coming either out of college or out of high school, which this is something that has been kind of a big deal lately, is like us as a company, we're going to show up at those job fairs, right? We're going to show up where kids can see, I don't have to spend $200,000 on an education to be paid $20 an hour. I can go right into the workforce and I can be making some real dollars, right? Without racking up a huge student loan debt. Not only that, is they're like, hey, I think I'm going to just create I'm going to do my own business, right? And when they're doing that, they're looking for modern tools. I've had a lot of companies, before they get the mySalesman tool, they're calling because they're just starting up. Like they're laying the groundwork before they actually pull the trigger. So they're looking for modern tools. And I know new kids that are coming into our organization, like there is clear communication and leadership throughout the organization. I think that's another thing that they're really wanting, like they feel comfortable in. They want to be part of something big. They're not in it for themselves. Hey, I'm going to go in. Well, I take that back. There are some people that, what we like to say, are coin operated. Put a quarter in me and I will dance. There are some people like that. But for the majority, when these folks are coming to us, they want to be part of a strong culture. They want us to respect their time. We want to respect their time. So it's funny because we have this rule at our company that we have a meeting. It's called the Monday morning meeting. It starts at 7:00, but if you're there at 7:00, you're late, right? Everybody knows that you probably need to be in the room by 6:45 a.m. And so we can get our meeting started on time, or not even a little bit early. And so if we would have people come into that space late, that's a big disrespect of everybody, not just the person who is speaking at the meeting, but everybody who is distracted, because they're like, oh my gosh, who just came in, and they're going to be in trouble. So respect of time. You know what? It's not written anywhere in our rules, unless it's something like per job or supervisor say, hey, we need to get started by this time. We don't have rules like that. So we have some guidelines, obviously, and some specific jobs for those guys on foot, installing boots on ground, installing the product when they have to be there. But yeah, respect of time is something I think these new, men and women coming into the workforce expects.
Yeah. Exactly. It's that old adage of on time is early as, what is it? On time is late and early is on time, or whatever the adage is. Like, you shouldn't be there at the 7 on the dot. You should be there 5, 10, 15 minutes before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? But it's a sign of respect for not just the person, but everybody in the room. Right.
Exactly. On that note of creating culture, I do think this is an interesting topic to dig into, because a lot of the fence businesses that are out there, or a lot of the trade businesses that are out there, were a family business, right? Mm-hmm. It was like a mom and pop shop, and then the kids joined, and now they own the business after their parents retired. And then culture was never something that you really thought about, because it was really run on family values, and you're hiring your family. So you don't really have, it's like unspoken. You don't have to teach that, because as a family, you all have shared values. But when you start to expand beyond that, you start to hire quickly, you grow, you get a lot of new people on board. Everybody has a slightly different set of values, and there needs to be like a concerted effort to get everybody onto the same page. And I think that's where a lot of businesses fall down, is that they sort of make the assumption that everybody thinks like I do. Everybody knows what I already know. The things that I think are common knowledge or obvious, they are also going to think is common knowledge and obvious. And that's not always the case, right? And I think you're finding that in some, tension when there are younger generations joining an older workforce, vice versa. So how do you all go about like building those bridges when there is maybe different expectations at the start of, someone joining or a new job or what have you?
So we actually have a really good process for that. We have a top-notch HR department that, that's all they do is people, right? They're Luke Shepard here at our company. He's the guy that gives the hugs, right? He has to make sure that our culture is set to a higher standard than most, I suppose I would say. But yeah, I think the HR department is very, very good at what they do. So we have some software that we use called HireClick, and that actually helps pull prospective team members in, right? So we have a nice pool of possibilities for joining our team. And then once we like to educate them first. When they're coming in for orientation, we do a whole presentation on the history of our organization and the why for every single company, and how we all work together, and what culture and high standards does mean for us. So I think they're getting a very close look very quickly as soon as they come into our organization. We also use some personality tests once they get here. So we make sure that, number one, they're sitting on the right bus or right seat of the bus, because they may be a great fit for our company as well, but maybe they were hired for a specific job in mind, but they just need to be moved to a different seat on the bus, right? So we do have those capabilities as well. When we do hire new team members, they understand who we are, our culture, and we have the high standards and high expectations. So that being said, when we do this Monday morning meeting, we get to meet as a company, all 190 of us in one room. Matt literally fist bumps everybody at that meeting. Now we do have another branch, and we have crews out working, but they all Zoom in. And that is part of setting that high standard of culture, is you are always at that meeting. And Matt actually has a couple things. That physical touch, right? You're there with he can see your eyes, make sure you're healthy, and hey, he can read into something's wrong with this person. Hey, Luke, we need to find out what's going on. I can tell by the look of their eyes. So we want to make sure that we're taking really good care of the people that is in our organization, right? You got to be good stewards of the people. And then as far as having them understand our culture, there's a lot of education in that. Number one, we stand in a circle, and they know why we stand in a circle is because the Knights of the Round Table stood in a circle, right? That's equality. We're all in this together. We're fighting this battle. We're putting our armor on together. We're learning leadership skills, social skills. And you know what? Sometimes there are people who have not learned those skills. So we're bringing them in and we're teaching them safety. We always have a safety. That's kind of where it started because we needed a safety director to come in and go through some tool talks when we were on a specific job. So we go over safety. But really, it's a great opportunity to be in one place and understand, learn something that you can take away. So we always say all the time, if this is not a good place for you to be, go and go where you're supposed to be. But I hope while you were here, you learned something that you can take and share and help somebody else grow. So I think that's kind of where we try to mesh and have people understand our culture, clear leadership and communication. And everybody understands that everybody is a leader in this company. From the person digging the hole, they can be a leader, right? They don't have to just, hey, I'm digging a hole because somebody's telling me to dig a hole, right? They can use their own personality and their own leadership skills and to be a leader. From that person to Matt, like we're all in this together, and he wants everybody to know that you have the ability to lead wherever you are.
Exactly. I think a culture like you've just outlined is actually quite rare these days, right? Because one of the things that you read online or you hear with generational workforce trends is like, Gen Z doesn't want to, work as hard. They don't know the basics or whatever. And it's like, that's maybe just a testament to the time that we're all living in, right? Mm-hmm. Like there isn't that culture of you join a company at 22 and then you retire at 60 or 65 and you were poured into. Like somebody gave you the opportunity, somebody taught you, trained you, showed you the ropes. And I think those sorts of systems, even in big Fortune 500s, have fallen away, right? Like there's a lot of interest in, we're going to replace this team with a, bunch of AI agents and we don't need that workforce anymore. Right. And I think when you have those sorts of trends in culture, people become skeptical, they become cynical, they don't immediately trust their employer. And I think all of the things that you've just outlined, just having that personal touch, being in the same room together on a daily basis and having your CEO look you in the eyes and say, are you okay? Like that is a level of human touch that is incredibly rare these days and is all a good lesson for anybody, that's going to be watching this to understand that maybe these are some of the things that I can cherry pick and put into my business. Because one thing I think about often, honestly, is like we've actually lost a lot of the circles of community that like maybe our parents' generation or grandparents' generation had. Because if you think about how they used to live life, like you used to know all of your neighbors. Like, yeah, I know my immediate neighbors, but do I know my neighbor 2 houses down or 3 houses down? Not really. And that used to be so different 60 or 70 years ago. There used to be community in maybe it's church or maybe it's religion. There's community in schools. Everybody knew the schools and the teachers and everybody went there and got together, right? There was a lot more chatting with the people that are immediately around you. And now with the digital age, you can find online communities and that's wonderful, but you're becoming a lot more siloed in how you interact with other people. Right. And actually work is one of the last places left that we have a very cohesive and organized community. And I do think a lot of people are craving that because, if you don't have that in these other parts of your life, you're going to look for it in work. And that's also kind of becoming a little bit more crumbly.
Right. And so this is going to segue really well into what you just said. Something that we like to practice within our own company. And everybody hears, hey, do you have your one-on-one today. So what is one-on-one? Like, what does that look like? What connotation do you see when you think one-on-one, right? It's almost maybe like a command and control. Like, I'm the one in command and we're going to do a one-on-one. I'm going to school you. But what we like to do is called our one-with-one. So we do this company-wide. Each person in our company has a one-with-one. So we have a specific time. A lot of ours is on Thursday at 8:00, where you're going to meet with your one-on-one. And you're literally going to say, hey, Seneca, how's your cup today? What percentage where are you at? 50%, 60%? And you're going to tell your one-with-one, you know what? It's raining. I was late, and you know what? I got a telemarketer calling me, and I'm just at a 20%. Well, you know what? My percentage is higher. So you know what? Today I'm going to pour into you a little bit. And we're just going to have that human connection where we're going to see where you're at. Is there anything I can do for you? You know, talk about your family, your goals, what you aspire to do. You know, tell me about the funny joke, that kind of thing. We do these one-with-one company-wide. And so with have this visual in your head, a braid, right? When you're braiding your hair, when you take one strand and cross it with another, it forms a tighter bond, right? So what Matt's idea is called the braided rope. So you have your one-with-ones that you're building these connections, not just work related, but deeper than that. And then the idea is next year is you're going to add one more in with your one-with-one. And then you're going to have that braided rope where you have 3 strands where it's tighter and stronger. And that's the difference. And that's what I think is appealing to a lot of people. Nobody looking, unless we tell somebody, nobody on the outside looking in is going to know we have these internal processes put into place. But one-with-one, the braided rope.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It is a small, but it's a very powerful shift. It's subtle, but it's extremely powerful just in the way that you frame that.
And what happens when you pull on that rope on both ends?
It'll be strong as hell.
It gets tighter, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because we're all going to go through stresses. It's inevitable. We're all going to have to deal with stresses. But if you have your braided rope and you're being pulled with your team and those people around you, you're only going to be stronger for it.
Exactly. My last question for you, Rachel, is obviously you mentioned to me earlier that you sit on the panel for women and in the fence business. You head up the AFA Women in Fence division. How have you thought about, empowering women in this industry? Because it's a very male-dominated industry. A lot of times, I'm sure we've all been in that situation where we're the only woman in the room. And you yourself know how to navigate that. But when you speak to other women who have also been in that seat and you're trying to navigate that, especially as a young professional, what's your advice to them? Or what do you say to the people in your corner?
Well, I think it really is looking at things through a different lens and not just say, hey, this is our experience. Here you go, and take that along with you. I think it really, so I sit on I'm a co-chair of the Women in Fence for the American Fence Association. And what we really try to do is, number one, empower people, right? Empower them, let them know that they are not in this industry alone. There's people that, walk in their shoes every single day. They're experiencing the same ebbs and flows, and just let them really understand that they have a support system out there, and that's who we are, right? So within that, we do meet quarterly. We have quarterly sessions and then in-person sessions at FenceTech annually. But the things that we do is we try to bring in really good speakers, or we have keynote discussions that really speak to the women in this industry. So we had a gal come in one of our last conversations that she worked for Talent Plus. So it's all about finding talent and pulling talent in out of people, right? Because everybody's got a talent, and let's just look for that and find it and help grow that. So we have people like her that came in, and next month we have a clinical psychologist coming in, right? Because and this clinical psychologist isn't going to just talk about the mental health challenges of working in an industry or life or whatnot, but I believe he's going to probably focus on some oh goodness, you know what? I had it and it was gone. So goodness, I apologize, but yes, it will come back. It'll come back. But that's what we're really trying to do, is we're just really trying to empower women in our industry. Something that we actually tried this last year, we did stretch. We're learning how to stretch. You take a rubber band and you stretch it, because when you stretch it, it stays useful longer. If you have a rubber band and you leave it in your drawer, or you'll notice a pair of underwear or any kind of waistband, if you don't wear that piece of clothing and stretch that elastic, you notice that when you pull it, it pulls and it breaks. And it's like, I can never wear these again, and throw them away. Same way with a rubber band. If it doesn't get used and doesn't get stretched, then it's just that the elastic's going to break. So we're challenging each other in these groups to step outside your comfort zone. Step outside your comfort zone. You can do it. We're gonna lend you confidence to do it. And so I actually needed somebody to lend me confidence in the industry, and it was through a series of mastermind classes that I went through that I'm like, you know what? It's kind of scary, but because I did that, I have confidence to come to this group of women and actually facilitate our own mastermind. So we did a book club for the Let Them theory. So we did a 6-week book club on that. And I tell you, that really, like, it's like you were meeting with friends, right? Because you were discussing some things and going through some situations, and you were just really lifting each other up and being there. And of course, being in a book club, you got to be held accountable for reading, right? So being able to do the book clubs on personal and professional growth type situations. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Rachel, you are a wealth of knowledge. I could talk to you all day. This has been an absolute masterclass on leadership, on culture, on how to grow a successful business that actually cares about its people. So I think it's going to be an absolute privilege to put this out to our audience. So thank you for your time. I sincerely appreciate it. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to talk about that we didn't get to touch on?
I think one thing that just to touch base on, a little bit about us is we're not just a fence company, right? We're not just a software company. We didn't just write up a program and are trying to sell it. What we're doing is we saw a need, we brought it to the industry, and we are a people company, right? We're going to use our company as a vehicle to see other people grow, not only in their business, but leadership. If you want to know something about leadership, I'd be happy to share. Let's talk. Let's have a mentor type relationship. That's the kind of people, when you're doing business with us, that's the kind of people that you're getting. So, and just to jump back into those folks that are coming into the space, from schooling or whatnot, I think that's attractive, right? To be part of a company or organization that, golly, they care about people, and they care about people that are just customers. How are they going to treat me? Like we're going to go to battles, right, for each other. So I guess that's all I just really wanted to add. Then we're always open for a conversation, and our software is really, really awesome. And when you pair it with ArcSite, gosh, that's just a duo combination that's going to just help so much with efficiencies and profitability, right?
Exactly. It's a force for doing good. It's a people business, and your businesses, all vertically integrated like they are all doing an incredible amount of good in all of the different communities that you touch. So I'm so excited to continue our partnership. And yeah, thank you for taking the time to chat to me today.
Yeah, you're welcome.